I should have been on that flight to Edinburgh. Instead, I was standing in Terminal 3 at Heathrow, watching my plane taxi away, feeling like the universe was mocking me. The divorce had been finalized 3 months earlier, and this conference was supposed to be my fresh start. Now the tube had made me late, and I'd missed everything. That's when I saw her. Sitting on the floor near the exit doors, a blanket wrapped around her shoulders despite it being June, and a baby sleeping against her chest. She looked young, exhausted, defeated. Her clothes were dirty but expensive. I recognized the coat because I used to own the same one before James took half of everything in the divorce. I should have walked away. But I've always been the person who stops to help, who tries to fix things. My mother used to say it would get me in trouble someday. She was right. I walked over slowly. Up close, I could see tears running down her cheeks. The baby stirred and she automatically rocked, even though her eyes were blank. "Are you okay?" I asked, immediately feeling stupid because obviously she wasn't. She looked up, surprised. "I'm fine, just waiting for someone." But I didn't believe her. "You don't look fine. Can I help? Buy you something to eat?" She studied me for a long moment, then fresh tears spilled over. "I don't know what to do. I left my husband. He was hurting me, hurting us. I took Lily and ran, but I have nowhere to go. My family disowned me. My friends believe his lies. I've been trying to get into shelters, but they're all full. We've been sleeping rough for 3 days. My heart broke right there. I thought about my own divorce, about James trying to paint me as unstable. I thought about how alone I'd felt, even with support. I couldn't imagine going through that with a baby and no one. "Listen," I heard myself saying. "I have a flat in Islington. Small, but there's a sofa bed. I'm supposed to be gone 3 days for this conference. You could stay there, rest, figure things out." Her eyes went wide. "I couldn't. You don't even know me." "I know you're a mom protecting her baby. I know what it's like to leave someone who hurt you. Please, let me help." She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Just for a couple days, until I figure something out. I'm Sophie. This is Lily." "Rachel," I said, shaking her hand. I spent the next hour getting her sorted, bought food, watched her devour it like she was starving, called the conference to cancel, took her to my flat on the tube. She jumped at every noise, apologized constantly, thanked me endlessly. When we got to my building, she looked around the lobby like she couldn't believe places like this existed. My flat was nothing special, just a 1-bedroom conversion, but it was clean and safe and mine. I showed her around quickly. "Make yourself at home. There's formula and nappies under the sink from when my brother's baby visited. Wi-Fi password is on the fridge. I'll call tomorrow to check in." Sophie was crying again, but this time from relief. "I don't know how to thank you. You've saved us." I gave her my spare key. "Don't thank me. Just rest. That's all I need." I left feeling good, like maybe missing that flight was meant to happen. I went to stay with Priya, my best friend since childhood, and told her what I'd done. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "You gave a complete stranger your key? Rachel, you don't know anything about this woman." "I know she needs help," I said. "What was I supposed to do?" Priya sighed. "At least you have that security camera. Check in, make sure everything's okay." She was right. I'd installed a camera after the divorce just for safety. It had an app on my phone. I'll keep an eye on things, but I think she just needs help. The first day was fine. I checked the feed and saw Sophie sleeping, Lily beside her. The second day, she was tidying, feeding the baby, watering my plants. I felt validated. Then came day 3. I was at work when I checked the camera during lunch. Sophie was on her phone, and her whole posture was different. Not hunched and defeated. Sitting straight, gesturing, laughing. I turned up the volume. "I told you it would work," she was saying. She's exactly the type. Bleeding heart, recent divorce, desperate to feel needed. She practically begged me to take the key. My blood went cold. I watched her walk around my flat, opening drawers, touching things. "Yeah, I'm in. I'll let you know when I've found it. Should be here somewhere. She seems like the type to keep important documents at home." I couldn't breathe. She was robbing me, looking for something. Then she said words that made my world tilt. "James said she keeps everything in a file box in the bedroom closet. Bank statements, passwords, everything. I'll have full access by tonight." James. My ex-husband, James. I sat frozen, trying to understand. James had sent this woman to my home. James, who'd sworn he wanted an amicable divorce. James had sent someone to steal from me. The baby started crying, and Sophie's face changed. Irritation flashed before she picked Lily up. "Got to go," she said. "The prop needs attention." The prop. She'd called her baby a prop. I left work immediately, called Priya from the tube. "You were right. She's not who she said. She knows James. She's looking for something." "Don't go back alone," Priya said. "Call the police." "No, not yet. I want to know what they're after first, what James is planning." "Rachel, this is insane." 3 days, Pry. Give me 3 days. I need to know what I'm dealing with." Priya was silent, then agreed. "Fine, but I'm helping, and so is Thomas." My brother Thomas was a cybersecurity specialist. When I told him, his protective instincts kicked in. "Give me her photo. I'll find out who she really is." I'd taken a casual picture of Sophie at the airport. Now I sent it to Thomas. Within 2 hours, he called back. "Her name isn't Sophie, it's Sophia Hartley. And Rachel, sit down." I was already sitting in Priya's flat. "Tell me." "She's an actress. Got blacklisted 3 years ago for stealing from a producer. But here's the part you need to hear. 10 years ago, she and James dated. 6 months right before he met you." The room spun. "What?" "More. 2 years ago, when James started his affair, hotel records show he met with Sophia multiple times. And the baby is real. Lily Hartley, born 8 months ago. No father listed." The implication hit me. James is the father. Timeline matches. If he is, and this was all planned, they're after something specific. Priya figured it out. She specialized in divorce law. The settlement. If James has a child born during your marriage and he hid it, you can reopen everything. You could take him for fraud, hidden assets, hidden income. He gave in too easily on some things in your divorce. What if he was planning this? Planning what exactly? Insurance. If you found out about the baby, he needed leverage. Something to make you look unstable or criminal so you couldn't fight back. Thomas leaned forward. "What's in that file box?" "Everything. Bank statements, tax returns, divorce papers, printed emails from when I suspected the affair. My passwords because I can't remember them. Credit card details, everything. He wants access to your accounts," Thomas said. "He'll steal from you, make it look like erratic spending. Then if you try to reopen the settlement, you have no credibility." It was diabolical. It was exactly what James would do. "So what do we do?" Priya asked. I looked at them both, these people who loved me. Then I smiled, and it wasn't nice. "We play the game better. We let Sophia think she's winning. Then we take everything from both of them." Over the next 2 days, Thomas helped me set up monitoring. We planted a second hidden camera with better audio. We put trackers on documents. We created fake bank statements showing accounts that didn't exist, filled with money I didn't have. We made copies of everything real and hid them at Priya's. We turned my home into a trap. And I watched Sophia photograph every document, watched her copy passwords, watched her call James and report in, voice sweet and congratulatory, watched her search my entire flat, watched her care for Lily with efficiency but not love. "The baby's real," Priya said quietly. "She's just not a very good mother. James probably promised her money, a fresh start for conning the stupid ex-wife." On the third day, I called Sophia. "Hi, Sophie. The conference got extended. Mind staying a few more days? I'd hate to kick you out." "Oh no, I couldn't impose," she started, but I heard the eagerness underneath. "Please. It would make me feel better." She accepted. And that night, I watched James enter my flat. He looked good. He always looked good. Expensive suit, new haircut, that smile that made me fall in love 12 years ago. He walked in like he owned the place. "Did you get everything?" he asked Sophia. "Everything in the box, plus her laptop password. I've got access to her email, banking, everything." "Good. Start small. A few hundred here and there at expensive shops, restaurants. Build a pattern. Then we hit her hard right before I file the motion." "What motion?" Sophia asked. James smiled, predatory. "I'm reopening the divorce, claiming she hid assets, that she's mentally unstable, that the settlement was under duress. With evidence of erratic spending and her depression history, I'll get a judge to freeze her accounts. By the time it's sorted, I'll have drained enough that she can't fight me, and she'll never know about you and Lily." "And my money?" Sophia pressed. "You promised 50,000 once this was done." "You'll get it. Once everything's sorted. Once I'm sure Rachel can't come after me." I watched Sophia's face. Saw doubt. She didn't trust him. Smart woman, I thought bitterly. They left together, James's hand on her back in a way that looked practiced. Thomas looked at me. "We've got them. Conspiracy to commit fraud, identity theft, unlawful computer access. We could go to the police now." "Not yet," I said, surprised by my calm. "If we go now, James gets a good lawyer, makes a deal. Sophia takes the fall. They get slaps on the wrist. I want more. I want everything." Priya looked concerned. "Rachel, be careful. Revenge can go too far." "This isn't revenge. It's justice. They were going to ruin my life, destroy my reputation, steal my money. All I'm doing is making sure the truth comes out." The plan took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of watching Sophia make small transfers from fake accounts. 2 weeks of James meeting with lawyers, starting paperwork to reopen the divorce. 2 weeks of me playing oblivious Rachel who had no idea what was coming. But behind the scenes, Thomas documented everything, every call, transfer, moment. We built a timeline. Found proof James had been supporting Sophia financially for over a year. Found hotel records. Found text messages from James's cloud backup where they planned everything, where he told Sophia exactly what to say at the airport, how to play the desperate mother. "He paid for acting coaching," Thomas said. "He literally paid to train her to con you." Priya built a legal case. Criminal charges and reopening the divorce on your terms. James committed fraud by not disclosing his support of Sophia and possibly his paternity. That changes everything. With criminal charges hanging over him, he'll have to settle to avoid jail. But I wanted more than legal victory. I wanted James to feel what I felt discovering his affair. I wanted him to know what it's like to have your world collapse. So I set up a meeting. Told James I was confused about charges on my accounts, worried I was losing track of things. I played into his narrative of me being unstable. He agreed immediately. We met at a restaurant. He was all sympathy. "Rachel, you look tired. Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said, playing with my fork. "I just don't know. Ever since you left, everything feels hard. These charges I don't remember making, I'm worried something's wrong with me." He took my hand. It took everything not to pull away. "Maybe you should see a therapist. The divorce was hard on you. There's no shame in getting help." "You're right," I said softly. Then I looked up, let my expression shift from vulnerable to sharp. "Or maybe I should talk to the police about the fraud you and your baby mama are committing." James went white. Actually white. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about Sophia Hartley, Sophie, as she introduced herself. I'm talking about Lily, your daughter, the conspiracy to access my accounts and steal. Should I go on?" He tried to recover. "Rachel, you're not making sense." "James, I have video, audio recordings, every text you've sent her, bank records showing you've been supporting her, hotel records, everything. Thomas is very good at his job, and Priya's already filed to reopen our divorce on grounds of fraud." James stood abruptly. "You can't do this." "I already have. Tomorrow Priya files criminal charges. The police will contact you. Get a good lawyer." I stood, left money for my coffee, and walked out without looking back. Sophia was different. I went to my flat where she was still staying, still thinking she was winning. She opened the door with Lily on her hip, that fake smile ready. "Rachel, you're back. Don't use my name like we're friends. You don't get to pretend anymore." She went still, calculating whether to keep acting or drop it. She chose honesty. "How long have you known?" "Since day 3. I watched everything, heard everything." To my surprise, she laughed. Not nicely. "I told him this was stupid. I told him you seemed smarter than he said, but he insisted you were easy." "Why did you do it? The baby's real. You're really her mother. Why use your own child as a prop?" Something flickered across her face. Maybe shame. "I needed money. James promised enough to start over. I thought, it's just some woman I don't know. What's the harm?" "The harm is you tried to destroy my life, make me look crazy, steal from me, ruin my reputation." "James tried to destroy my life first," she shot back. "When I told him I was pregnant, he offered money for an abortion. When I refused, he cut me off completely. I've been struggling alone almost a year. Forgive me if I don't feel guilty about trying to get what he owes me." I looked at her, really looked, and saw another victim of James's manipulation. He was never going to pay you. After this, he'd cut you off again. Probably threatened to take Lily. That's who he is. She held Lily tighter. "I know. I figured that out around day 5. That's when I knew I was fucked. You still did it." "What choice did I have? A baby, no money, and a man who could make my life hell if I didn't cooperate." I understood then. Sophia wasn't innocent, but she wasn't the villain. James was. James, who'd left a trail of damaged women. "I'm still pressing charges. What you did was illegal and wrong. But I'll tell police you cooperated, that you were coerced. If you testify against James, you'll probably get probation instead of jail." "Why would you do that?" "Because Lily needs her mother, and because I think you've been punished enough by having James in your life. But Sophia, if you ever come near me again, try anything like this again, I will make sure you lose everything. Understand?" She nodded, tears running down her face. "I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'm really sorry." I left her there and went to Priya's, ready to sleep for 100 years. The criminal case took 6 months. James tried everything: claimed entrapment, illegal recordings, vindictive ex-wife accusations. But evidence was overwhelming. Texts, financials, video, Sophia's testimony. James pled guilty to avoid trial. 2 years suspended sentence, meaning no jail but a criminal record. 300 hours community service. A hefty fine. More importantly, he lost his job. The investment bank didn't want association with someone convicted of fraud. His reputation was destroyed. The civil case was more satisfying. Priya reopened the divorce with evidence of James's hidden support of Sophia and Lily. The judge was not pleased. We'd been generous originally. Now the judge recalculated based on James's actual income and assets. I got the value of the house we'd sold. Half his pension I hadn't asked for originally. Compensation for emotional distress, attempted fraud, lies during divorce. By the end, James had lost almost everything he'd fought to keep. Sophia got probation. Full custody of Lily with no support from James until he tried denying paternity. Thomas found a lab report James had ordered months earlier. The judge was disgusted. James was ordered to pay child support, but Sophia never got her promised payout. I saw Sophia once more, 8 months later. In a Camden coffee shop, working on my laptop, when she walked in with Lily in a stroller. Lily was bigger, almost 2, with James's dark hair. Sophia saw me and hesitated, then pushed the stroller over. "Can I sit?" I gestured to the chair. She sat, nervous. "I wanted to thank you for not pushing for jail, for telling them I cooperated. I didn't deserve your help." "You didn't, but Lily did." Sophia looked at her daughter. "I'm getting my life together. Back in school, training to be a teacher. Turns out I'm better with kids than acting. And I'm in therapy, dealing with the bad choices." "That's good. For what it's worth, I'm really sorry. I was desperate and scared and let James convince me what we were doing was somehow okay. But nobody's ever fine after someone violates their trust like that. I know that now." I studied her. She looked different, more real. The Polish was gone, but something steadier underneath. "I believe you." James tried contacting me last month. Wanted to talk about Lily. I blocked him. Got a restraining order. I'm done being manipulated. "Good. Lily deserves better. You both do." Sophia stood. "I hope your life is good now. I hope you're happy." "I'm getting there. It takes time, healing from what someone like James does. But I'm getting there." She left, and I watched her go. This woman who'd tried to destroy me and ended up being another casualty of James's cruelty. I didn't forgive her, not really. But I understood. And maybe that was enough. My life did get better. The conference invited me back the next year, and my presentation went so well I got offers from 3 major firms. I took one at a company that valued integrity. I moved to a new flat without James's memories. Kept the security cameras, though. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. Priya and I became even closer. She'd seen me at my worst and loved me anyway. Thomas, too. My family rallied in a way that made me realize how much I'd isolated myself during marriage, how much I'd let James control. I dated eventually, cautiously. Thomas ran background checks without asking. I was paranoid about hidden agendas, but slowly, I learned to trust again. Not completely, not like I'd trusted James, but enough. About a year after everything settled, I found a photo from my wedding. James and me, impossibly young and happy. I should have torn it up, but instead, I sat looking at it, trying to remember who I'd been. The woman who believed love meant giving everything, trusting completely, making yourself vulnerable. I didn't miss her. That naive, trusting Rachel. She was kind, but weak. Let people walk over her because she was afraid of being difficult. The woman I'd become? She wasn't afraid anymore. She knew the difference between kindness and stupidity. She knew trust had to be earned. She knew sometimes the only way to survive is to fight back. Was I harder now? Yes. More cynical? Absolutely. But I was also free. Free from James, his manipulation, the person I'd tried to be to make him happy. And that freedom was worth everything. I sometimes wondered about the version where I didn't check that camera, where Sophia stayed and James's plan succeeded, where I ended up broken, reputation destroyed, unable to fight because I had no resources. It could have happened so easily. But I did check. I did fight back. And that made all the difference. Betrayal changes you. It has to. You can't go through someone you loved deliberately trying to destroy you without it leaving a mark. But you choose what kind of mark. You can let it make you bitter and closed off, or you can let it make you stronger and wiser. I chose strength. I chose wisdom. And I chose never again to be someone who gives her key without asking questions. Because here's what I learned. Compassion is beautiful, but it must be balanced with self-preservation. Helping others is noble, but not at the cost of your safety. Trust is precious, but should never be given blindly. And revenge? Real revenge isn't about hurting someone. It's about making sure they can never hurt you again. It's about taking back your power. It's about refusing to be a victim. James wanted me broken and helpless. Instead, I turned his plan against him. I used his arrogance, his certainty that I was too stupid or trusting, and made it his downfall. There's satisfaction in beating someone at their own game, in being underestimated and proving how wrong they were. James thought I was weak. Sophia thought I was an easy mark. They both learned differently. I ran into James one final time, about 18 months after the case, at a networking event, newly promoted to senior director, feeling confident. He was there too, struggling to rebuild his career. The fraud conviction followed him everywhere. We ended up at the same bar. He looked older, stressed. His suit was good, but not great. He'd always worn the best. "Rachel," he said, voice tight. "James." "You look well." "I am. Better than I've been in years." He nodded, looking at his drink. "I suppose you're happy about how things turned out." "Happy isn't the word. Satisfied. Vindicated. But James, I'm not happy you destroyed your life. I'm just glad you didn't succeed in destroying mine." I was desperate. The affair, the baby, it was falling apart. I thought if I could control the narrative— "You thought you could make yourself the victim," I interrupted. "Make me look bad enough that no one would question what you'd done. You thought you could rewrite history." "Yes, that's exactly what I thought. But that's not how truth works. You can spin it, manipulate it, but eventually it comes out, and everyone sees exactly who you really are." I know. I've lost everything. My job, reputation, future. You made sure of that. No, you made sure of that. I just made sure consequences found you. There's a difference. He looked at me, really looked, and understood. I wasn't the woman he'd married, the one he'd thought he could control. I'd become someone else. Someone who didn't forgive easily. Someone who fought back. I did love you, at the beginning. Maybe you did, but you loved yourself more. Your comfort, your image, your control. And when I became inconvenient, when I started asking questions, you decided I was the problem. Not your lying, not your cheating, me. I suppose you're right. I know I'm right. And James? When I gave Sophia that key, I wasn't being stupid, I was being kind. Kindness isn't weakness. You and Sophia mistook my kindness for stupidity, my compassion for gullibility. That was your mistake, not mine. I left him at the bar, probably contemplating his choices. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt done. Done with that chapter, done giving him emotional energy. It's been 3 years since that day at the airport. 3 years since I made a choice that seemed kind and turned out to be the catalyst for the most dramatic period of my life. People ask if I regret it, if I wish I'd walked past and never known what James was planning. The answer is no, because even though it was painful and violating, it gave me something valuable. Clarity. It showed me exactly who James was, removed any doubt about the divorce, proved my instincts about his affair weren't paranoia, validated every moment I'd questioned myself. And it taught me something crucial. I'm stronger than I thought, more resourceful, more capable. Old Rachel would have crumbled, would have believed James when he said she was losing it, would have accepted his narrative. But I didn't crumble. I fought, and I won. My life now is quiet in the best way. Work I love, loyal friends, supportive family, a flat that's mine with no shadows, a future I'm building on my terms. Do I still struggle with trust? Yes. Do I check backgrounds more than necessary? Also yes. But those aren't weaknesses. They're adaptations. Armor I built to protect myself, and I'm not ashamed. The story has become legendary among my friends. Priya tells it at parties with dramatic flair. Thomas made it a cautionary tale about cybersecurity. And me? I tell it to women going through divorces, to anyone who thinks being hurt means being helpless. Because we're never as helpless as we think. Even when someone we love tries to destroy us, we have power, we have choices, we can fight back. And sometimes when we fight back, we don't just survive, we win. I gave my key to a homeless mother, and she wasn't who I thought. But in trying to destroy me, she and James gave me something they never intended. The chance to prove what I was made of. The opportunity to stop being a victim and become the hero of my own story. And for that, strangely, I'm almost grateful. Because the woman I am now, she's someone I'm proud to be. Someone who knows her worth. Someone who will never again give her key away without knowing exactly who she's giving it to. The homeless woman taught me the most valuable lesson. Trust your instincts. Protect yourself, and never let anyone make you feel crazy for what you know is true. And when someone tries to destroy you, fight back. Document everything. Get help from people who love you. Use their plan against them. Make sure the truth comes out. Because the truth is the only thing that sets you free. The truth about who hurt you, but more importantly, the truth about who you are. What you're capable of. How much strength you have when you decide to use it. I gave my key to a stranger, and it almost destroyed me. But in the end, it saved me. Saved me from wondering what James was capable of. Saved me from carrying guilt about a divorce that was never my fault. Saved me from being someone who lets others walk over her. And that salvation, worth every moment of pain. Because now I know, I can trust myself, I can protect myself, and I will never be anyone's easy target again. The woman at the airport wasn't who I thought, but neither was I. I thought I was broken by divorce, trying to rebuild, carrying scars as weaknesses. Instead, I discovered I could turn scars into armor, turn betrayal into power, and when pushed into a corner, I didn't collapse. I fought my way out, and I won.